Broadcasting live from the Carter Subaru Studios. You're listening to KIRO Nights. Happy Thursday, y'all. I am G. Scott. The Online Trading Academy text line, it is 98973. Text us and say hi, say bye. Just let us know what you're up to. It really means the world that you guys listen to the show right here every single night, right here on KIRO Nights. Now, this story right here is a story that, first, I want to say that in talking about this, I mean, it needs to be talked about, but I have somewhere where I want this conversation to go. And I hope that this conversation continues after this. All right. So body cam footage right now has been released via the Seattle Times this week, covering an incident that occurred in February of last year involving then Sergeant Frank Poblocki and two citizens as their car is being towed. Now, the man whose car was towed was due to expired tabs, though he didn't get a ticket or anything like that. He did not find the implementing of a tow truck to be altogether fair, which I would assume you would agree. If your tabs were expired and you hadn't got a ticket yet and you came out and you saw your car being towed, you might feel a certain type of way too. So he and Sergeant Poblocki exchanged some words. It went like many encounters the police have with the public. People get upset when they're getting arrested or having a car towed.
Don't drive it around.
This is some tax?
I go like this.
Some money for the government? Are you kidding me?
You're a big man, huh? You're talking all kinds of smack.
So, the couple, seeing their car towed away, continued. They were angry. The car was towed without, like I said, first receiving that ticket or the warning.
I don't know. I don't know when you sleep.
You could have did it there, but you didn't. You did it while we're asleep like a punk.
Like a punk. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys. Good night. I'll see you for sure. I know. Okay. Bye-bye.
So cop told him he'll see him again for sure. So Sergeant Poblocki is no longer Sergeant Poblocki because he followed through on that promise of see you later. 3 hours later, Poblocki drove to the AutoZone in the Central District where the man worked. AutoZone right there on 23rd and Jackson, you know where that parking lot is, where there's a Starbucks right there in that parking lot, Starbucks and a Walgreens and everything. So he parked his car, pulled out a lawn chair, and sat down outside. Oh, by the way, all of this is being recorded by the cop's own body cam. Like the cop's body cam. So everything you're hearing right now, you can't see the video because you're listening right now, but everything you're hearing is from the cop's body cam.
I got my comfy chair. I got a little disrespected earlier today. So I'm going to hang out.
Yes, that was the cop sitting there. He sat there for nearly an hour. From the body cam video, you can hear him talking with people walking by who are asking him, what the heck are you doing?
I don't know if I told you, but I got a little disrespected earlier today. And I think I deserve an apology. Do you know that guy who drives that purple broke down Crown Vic? That's not even his car. That's his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend's car that he drives around, who's currently in prison, is what I was told.
Now, how exactly was Sergeant Poblocki disrespected?
He said disrespected, huh?
Yeah. Some guy called me a hoe and a bitch.
So, there he stayed, in his chair, in uniform, outside the AutoZone, waiting for an apology.
Hey, I'm just cold kicking it. Yeah. Just doing some community-oriented policing stuff.
Okay, before I keep going, I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm being serious when I tell you this. This is from the Seattle Times. This is it's true. This is what really happened. It's on the video. I can tell you this. There is no way that I would believe that this was even possible. And I know you're probably thinking the same thing. Like, there's no way. Like, I would say, oh, come on. This is made up. The more I kept watching and listening, I'm like, this has to be a joke or a prank or something. Now, customers in the Starbucks on 23rd and Jackson saw him sitting there. Everyone walking by could. There was a witness that stepped out of the Starbucks and noted everyone in the Starbucks could see what was going on. He asked his name and badge number and told him, hey, man, it looked really bad.
I just think it's bad representation what you're doing.
Hanging out with the public?
No, man, they know why you're here.
Who's they?
An apology for somebody whose vehicle got towed. It's just bad form in general.
Okay, I don't know who you're referring to when you say they, but I'm just hanging out.
Customers inside the store.
Okay.
They're fully aware of why you're here.
Go ahead.
It's really bad form, man. Bad relations.
But, you know, sometimes you just really want an apology.
Well, it did hurt my feelings.
Officer Poblocki, he's an officer now, was demoted for this incident. Another man on the street, this was a brother, that gave Sergeant Poblocki a little bit of advice. And you would think that this person giving the advice, maybe he has police training or something.
Man, look, I work for the city, too. I work for the water department. I know, man, I deal with irate customers all the time. And if I go at them like that, when we in a heightened situation, they're going to say the wrong thing to me, and I'm going to say, you know what, 911, because I don't want to lose my job.
And he shared a little more friendly advice straight out of the Law Enforcement De-Escalation Training Handbook.
Because I heard you say you felt like he was disrespected.
Oh, I was.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, if you approach him now while the thing is kind of heightened, because he's upset with you and you felt you was disrespected, the thing is that you know he's going to be combatant and he's going to get loud with you, and because you're, you're unduly.
No, I
and stuff
absolutely
like that,
see your point.
He's going to get mad, and you're going to get mad, and you're going to say, hey, you need to calm down.
Well, I would like to have a side conversation with him.
Well, see, the thing is, you might want to wait till things de-escalate.
That's a good point.
Bad cop. He should have lost his job in this situation. There is no, I don't even know. I would assume and hope that he did not show behaviors like this in the past for him to become a sergeant. And out of the Seattle police officers I know, all the police officers I know, period, this is just, it looks bad on cops. But I wanted to have a conversation. The conversation I wanted to have, and I wanted to use this for an example, because that's just a bad cop. I don't want to sit here and give cops a name and say, oh, see, that's how cops are. And first, as we get ready to have this conversation, I saw something the other day. I had wrote something, and I saw one of the comments, and somebody said, G. Scott's a cop. He's a cop hater. He doesn't like cops. And so either that person was just, yeah, David, somebody said I was a cop hater.
That sounds like they're being sarcastic. Like, have they listened to the show? Have they listened to any show that you've been on?
I mean, I think about a month ago, somebody says, yeah, I like listening to G. Scott, but he talks about his dad too much. Well, yeah, you know what? That I'll agree with. I do. I talk about my dad a lot. If you know, my dad was a cop. Anyways, here's where I want to go with this. I remember when I was younger, and yes, my dad was a cop, but he was my dad. But there was Officer Parks. Officer Parks, may he rest in peace, man. All the kids, all my friends, we all loved Officer Parks. Here's why. Our neighborhood where we were, right off of Jeffrey, his little area, that was his beat. So Officer Parks used to walk the beat. He was a beat cop, you know what I mean? And so he would walk the beat, and he knew who you were. And so when he would see the kids, hey, how your mama doing? How your daddy doing? That type of relationship, right? And that was just how it was. I bring up Officer Parks because I remember there was a certain time where people looked at cops Yes, over the years, you don't have to tell me. I'm very aware of history, of all types of history that has happened in the past. You don't have to get on me on that. I actually had good grades in school. If people kill me that want to come here and talk to me about history, I understand history. But my point is during that time, there was this sense of cops were a good guy. Cops were good. Just like there can be bad servers, bad waitresses, bad radio hosts. There's bad people in any profession. And unfortunately, with bad cops can be deadly. That's the unfortunate part. So like a bad server can give you bad toast or be late with your food. A bad cop, that's real dangerous. And especially this cop right here. This cop he had a body cam on. Knew he was being recorded, and he was that dumb. Imagine what he would do without a body cam. But let me get back to my point. If you would have asked a classroom back in our day, back when I was younger, let's just say back in the late 70s and 80s, if you would have said to the classroom, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Most people, a lot of kids in my class, a lot of my friends, you know what they would have said? I want to be a police officer. If you go to schools right now today and say the same thing, is that going to be the same sentiment? I'm not sure. Because it's don't get me wrong, we got we still got a long way to go. You always got to be better. So which brings me to my point that I really want to get to. At some point, I want to have and speak to and talk to, maybe once a month, maybe once every couple weeks, an opportunity where I have a cop on the beat, where I have a cop come in here and sit down with me. And I could ask, and I could ask questions. Hey, I'm not going to ask you about any actual investigations, but I want to get a conversation going. I want to talk. Hey, how's it going, officer, whoever your name is? Hey, can you help me understand this and why this happened and how come this happened? And here's a story right here. Give me a better understanding. And I don't just want one cop, and I don't want it to just be one cop where I just sit here and we just have huggy. That's not going to get us nowhere either. But sometimes we got to go ahead and start having these conversations. So I'll go ahead and raise my hand, even though you can't see it. I'll raise my hand because I want to have the conversations and prevent. And even though when you see and hear about the Officer Poblocki, when you hear about Officer Poblocki and you hear about what he's done, that story gets talked about a lot. And then it makes the whole entire police force look bad. I got a buddy for the Puyallup police force. Good buddy of mine. I've already asked him. He's out of town right now. I want to be able to have an opportunity where, you know what, at some point, we cannot keep having this continue, because at the end of the day, you can say what you want to, and somebody might be listening to me right now, David, and they might be saying, gee, I don't agree with you. I don't like cops. Okay, sure, fine. That's fine. If something happens right now and something bad happens, who's the first person you're going to call? I bet you call the cops then. So you can't say that you don't. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because if you're not going to call the cops, who else are you going to call? And so we have to, at some point, get the conversation going. So we can not just always talk about the bad. I would love to have a conversation about the 3 police officers that were acquitted in Chicago today. I have a lot of questions about that. A lot of questions. So, the Online Trading Academy text line is 98973. I know I usually have about 2 or 3 cops that listen to the show. That's a call to you guys. On the beat, come in, have a conversation. But at the same time, for those that are on the force 1 year, 2 year, 10 years, 20 years, we can't have, at some point, we got to get to the point where more generations, I'm not saying there's some people that love cops. But if I can do my part, I'm on the radio every single day, so I have a responsibility. And my responsibility is to obviously talk news, give an opinion, whether you agree or disagree. Well, my opinion is that we need to have situations where we get to know our cops a lot more. And so I'm going to go ahead and provide that platform. And to the officer that did that for the Seattle Police Department, that was pretty bad. It's pretty embarrassing.